former lead prosecutor in Larry Hoover's federal case, reacting this afternoon with disappointment, telling us there are just some offenders and crimes that are not deserving of clemency, and Hoover falls in that category. But this afternoon, President Trump disagreeing, commuting Hoover's 6 life sentences on federal convictions to time served. Hoover still faces, however, a 200-year state sentence on a 1973 murder conviction, so it appears he won't be getting out of prison, at least in the near term. It was while behind bars serving time for that murder that federal prosecutors will be getting out of prison, at least in the near term. It was while behind bars serving time for that murder that federal prosecutors say he continued overseeing the Chicago gangsters. However, a 200-year state sentence on a 1973 murder conviction, so it appears he won't be getting out of prison, at least in the near term. It was while behind bars serving time for that murder that federal prosecutors say he continued overseeing the Chicago gangster disciples. However, a 200-year state sentence on a 1973 murder conviction. So
200 years for a 1973 murder. 200 years. 200 years. If I ain't mistaken, he shot somebody. 200 years. I mean, listen, taking a life is terrible. You know, according to the Bible, you know, you take a life, the consequences is death. That's the thing that a lot of people don't understand when it comes to God, that when you take a life, the penalty is death. The penalty is death. So, I mean, I'm just still tripping. Like, they gave him 200 years for a murder. And you see, in this day and age, people be getting 10 years off of murder, 5 years, 20 years. They gave him 200 years off of murder. Like he consumed the body or something, you know. But again, when you take a life, the bad thing about taking the life is that 9 times out of 10, the life you took from a person wasn't even a believer in God, so he went straight to hell. So complaining about a person's time compared to you may have been responsible for sending somebody to hell forever. I mean, I think it balances out, but I'm still just tripping off like the time. But again, some of these subjects be kind of sensitive, but that's why I kept winding back. I'm like, hold on, did I hear what I think I heard? They gave that man 200 years for a murder, but they probably were giving him more. He probably was convicted of the murder, because sometimes that's what they do too. They'll convict you of a murder, but give you more time based upon everything else too. Just like they just need one conviction on something, you could beat the other ones, but they'll charge you as though you were convicted for all of them.
It appears he won't be getting out of prison, at least in the near term. It was while behind bars serving time for that murder that federal prosecutors say he continued overseeing the Chicago gangster disciples, a gang that he co-founded. And in 1997, he was convicted of running a criminal enterprise. But Hoover's attorney says over the years, Hoover has been rehabilitated and written numerous letters talking about his experience, how he turned to crime, and the good he can do in steering young people away from a similar fate.
He is being held because he is a symbol, not because he needs further incarceration or he hasn't been rehabilitated. He's been a model prisoner for many, many years. He's been examined. He has been determined to be no risk.
If Larry Hoover said there was going to be a killing, there was a killing. If Larry Hoover said there was going to be a beating, there was a beating. If Larry Hoover said there was going to be a drug deal, there was a drug deal.
Hoover's case has drawn the attention of a number of advocates and public figures, including Chance the Rapper and Kanye West. Hoover is currently serving time in Colorado, but with that state sentence, he'll likely be moved at some point to a prison in Illinois.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Let's talk about it. I used to be a gangster disciple up under this same exact gang. And I am from Chicago, Illinois. That's where I'm literally born and raised, in Chicago, Illinois, from the projects of Stateway Gardens. Or the projects in Stateway Garden. I was actually trying to show it to y'all. I removed that? That's crazy. Okay, I had no idea I removed that. I was actually finna show y'all. It's gone. I moved it. Okay. Yeah. So I actually used to be a part of that gang. And I got a lot of family members that's still in that gang. Some in leadership positions in that gang. When I went to prison the second time being under that gang, um, God saved my life. He changed me. And I don't worship men no more. The only man I do worship is the Lord Jesus Christ, who is no other than God in the flesh. Okay. And I understand that all men are sinners and they flawed. And in our upbringing, I didn't understand being a part of the gang was just our upbringing and way of life. That's what it was. I didn't know until God opened my eye that worshiping gangs and gang leaders is devil worship, Satanism. And if you died in those sins, you would stand before God as an idolater, because these men are not God. They men. And these men are worshiped, they praised. You have people who kill on their behalf. You have people who willing to risk their freedom for them. So, but a lot of people again do this in ignorance. I did it in ignorance. I didn't know no better. I didn't understand, you know. And again, when I came to the knowledge of truth and God saved me, I came out of it. I believe in second chances. This man is about like 80 years old. And I commend Trump on what he did, because if I was the president, I'll let go a lot of gang leaders after I have a conversation and talk with them. When you see all the killing and stuff that's going on in urban communities and cities as a result of gang violence and things like this, you need gang leadership to bring the order to what is disordered. Look at Chicago, how it is in Chicago. The random and reckless killings that take place and so many innocent lives are being taken. And if these leaders who started these gangs, who have the honor of the people, who under their banners and umbrellas, words could affect and change people's lives because they on the streets, it's worth it. If you could let this one man out who 80-some years old, who people look at as being the founder of this gang, by which they remain killing under, remain selling drugs under, remain extorting under, and he could set a positive example, that's what his parole would consist of. Every gang leader, if I were the president, that's what their parole would be consist of. As long as you can contribute to helping stop the violence under these gangs y'all started, your freedom remain tied into that. That you at least make a difference to correct the problem that you started. I don't see nothing wrong with that. You can use him and so many other gang leaders to make a difference in the very gangs that these young people are under that's killing so senseless. Sometimes it's worth it when you look at the overall difference it can make. Why continue to have him locked up like that if he can make a difference on the streets to stop prison overcrowding, to stop unnecessary gang violence and death? Like when you look at what's going on, the GDs and BDs, they be at war all the time. They kill each other more than the opposition for the most part. And they up under basically the same banner. In prison, they unified and united together. On the streets, they're against each other and kill each other. And he's the common denominator. Notice it said co-founder of the gangsters, of the disciples, with David Bochdale, who's the leader of the BDs. They were friends. They was partners. He's the common denominator. He 80 something. He about almost 80. I would let these gang leaders out. I bring them to a understanding, and your freedom is based upon making a difference with the youth. Why not? Why just have them locked up like that if they got the power and ability to help and stop a lot of this stuff that's going on under their name? Like, for instance, when Hoover first started this, it wasn't as big as it is right now. That's the biggest gang in the United States. The Gangster Disciples here. They bigger than the Bloods. They bigger than the Crips. And they in every state. You know it ain't no Bloods and Crips in Chicago. You know it ain't no Bloods and Crips in Milwaukee. You know it ain't no Bloods and Crips in a lot of areas. And it's like that for a reason. But you have Gangster Disciples and you have them in every state. But Bloods and Crips ain't in every state. This man is the leader of the biggest gang in the United States. And he said he changed. You have to put that to test. You have to put that to the test to see if it's true. And if he know his freedom is tied into it, I think he'll try hard to make that true. And I think when you getting this old, for the most part, because I know some people don't change, but some people can change. God is a God of second chances, that he give us all second chances and grace. And when you're getting older, sometimes you think about life. You think about you on your way out. You get more spiritual. You be more God conscious. And you want to clean up a lot of the mess that's been done under your name. You know how many people died under the name of being a gangster disciple? You know how many gangster disciples in prison that this man see them and he be like, this started from him? They got to weigh on your conscience to some degree. And you know the devil job, he gonna keep condemning you. But the government, let's just be honest, they don't really want to stop crime, because crime is paying everybody. Sin pays the world, because that's another name for crime. It's just called sin. Sin pay the hospitals. Penn say that terrible. Sin pay the hospitals. Sin pay the judicial system. Sin pay the Board of Education. Sin pay the police stations, the fire departments. Sin pay everything. They don't want crime to stop. They want it to continue because it's paying the bills. Because it's paying the bills. They be trying to say they want it to stop. They want to contain it to some degree, but they don't want it to stop because a lot of people would be out of jobs if it stopped. That be the problem. And that's the whole thing of why you see such an argument. Like this man, 80 years old. You want him locked up till he dead. Oh, but you know he calls shots. He still can call shots from prison. He still can call shots from prison. Like he been arrested on. He been arrested for still selling drugs from the prison. Still calling shots from the prison. So him being locked up ain't stopping nothing. It ain't stopping nothing. If that's something he still wanted to do. But you can use these brothers. You can bring them to a table. You can get an understanding that they can make a difference and help the youth. Because when we was coming up, we looked up to this man. We looked up to this man. I talked to him on the phone one time. When he called my brothers, I answered the phone. I didn't know who he was because he didn't call collect. He called straight through. This was years ago. This was in like 1992. This was like in 1992. My brothers and them got indicted behind this. We all went to jail behind this. I went to prison. My brothers and them got indicted. Gangs is terrible. It hurts the community. It destroys lives. And it sends people straight to hell. There is no heaven for no gangsters. It ain't no heaven. It ain't no ghetto in heaven. And it ain't no heaven for a gangster. Stop believing them rap songs. God is holy. God is righteous. God is true. These things were created by the devil to cause murder and divisions and separation, to keep you oppressed, to condition you to hate. That's what these things were created to do. When you come to the knowledge of God, you get up out of this mess. And God is saving a lot of lives because he's real and he's true. If this man could make a difference, man, let that man go. Let that man go. Keep him under supervision and let his parole be tied into the difference he can make with the youth. And I do that to a lot of the gang leaders. I do that to almost every gang leader. Because what is that one life compared to the thousands that's out here that can be changed as a result of their influence? And if you're going to be a leader of a gang, lead them in the right direction. Guide them in the right direction. Since they want to be a part of it, if you're going to be the leader of the Crips, guide them in the right direction. You're going to be the leader of the Bloods, guide them in the right direction. You're going to be the leader of gangsters and vice lords and Blackstones and BDs, lead them in the right direction. Don't just say you care for your people. Let your actions line up with your words. Show that you care for your people. Give them life and not death. Give them opportunities and not failures. People can change. People can change. There's no such thing as a hopeless person as long as he has breath. God can change anybody. He saves to the uttermost. He is a second chance, life-changing God. Come on now. So no, I'm not against it. And I commend Trump for these things. Like a lot of people be trying to speak against him, but Trump know by experience what second chances is. Remember, they just had this man up under like, how many felonies they had that man up under that they found him guilty under? Yeah, that man under like 36 different felonies. That man had 36 charges on him. Donald Trump did. Donald Trump did. They tried to make sure he didn't win the election. But the people so fed up with politics and they so fed up with the lies, they didn't even care about him being found guilty of 36 felonies. They just wanted a change. They are tired of politics and want to see results. So they didn't even care about that. Think about that. He won the presidency election after being a convicted felon of 36 felonies. That's how tired people is. They were tired of it. They were tired of the Democratic Party. They were tired of the lies. They were tired of all the false promises. They wanted somebody who they know is about action to make a difference, regardless to what they were trying to say about this man. So shouts out to Trump for at least trying to make a difference, man. He already the president. He ain't going nowhere. The best thing you can do is pray for him and try to hope that God touches his heart to make better decisions and do right for the people. We need to stop complaining about things we can't fix. What's done is done. Now, since it's here, how do we make this thing work for the better for everybody? Just like this brother. He 80 years old. He on his way out of here. If he can make a difference to the streets and the youth and stop some of this killing, regardless of what his past is, God forgive. And see, that'd be the problem with people. They always see other people's sins and forget their sins. Like that person was talking about, oh, when Hoover said killed, he killed. When he said sell dope, he sell dope. Yeah, that was his sin. What was yours? Because the homosexual, the murderer, the thief, and the liar gonna all be in the same fire. Gonna all be in the same fire. Jesus said, before you can remove the speck from your brother's eye, first remove the plank out of your eye. Because just like you can call somebody else out on what they do wrong, you can be called out on the wrong you do also. We all owe God a debt that we undeserving and can't pay. That's why he sent his son to do it. And we give him glory. So yeah, I'm all for it. If Hoover can change his life to become a better man, so be it. If he can make a difference on these streets along with all the other drug lords and leaders and gang members, like, hey, give them a second chance. Me and them been locked up for 40, 30 years. Give them a chance to make a difference, to change lives. One life in exchange for thousands. That's a bargain. That's a deal. I do it. I fix it. And we need people in leadership like that who understands it. So I hope the brother can get a pardon where he out. And I hope he mean what he say. But you will never know it if you don't give him a chance. You'll never know it if you don't give him a chance. But at the end of the day, if you don't have a relationship with Jesus Christ, you're doing an injustice to yourself. That tomorrow ain't promised to nobody. And when you're gone, you're gone.